Hey everyone, we're going to be doing a deck profile for Nightrose. So this is a Vanguard deck profile, and like I mentioned in the other Vanguard video that I did, I wanted to alternate between Yu-Gi-Oh! And Vanguard in a fair manner so that I could cater to both viewers. Some people might not be interested in Vanguard, but I might as well just do some as well, just so that there are Vanguard players who want to see these videos as well. So we have Nightrose that I've been building since it first was announced, really. It was just really awesome. And it's taken me a while, but I finally managed to finish this deck. I think there's only one missing card, which is a Stride. But other than that, let's just get on with the deck profile. So for our starting Vanguard, we're playing Grenache. Grenache is pretty self-explanatory. If anything, I might even play it at 2 because it's just become so good, so necessary for your combos and plays. It helps you countercharge too, which is just so amazing. So definitely a card worth playing. And like I said, it's worth probably bumping up to 2. So we're playing 2 of the Vampire Princess of Starlight Nightrose. I managed to get the SP pack, so I do have an SP version of her. And if you guys haven't seen, go check out my channel. I did an opening of the Rummy Labyrinth box. So it's really cool that I got this. I'm playing 2 because my main Vanguard is still the old Nightrose. It has more defensive plays and everything like that. This one is more of an aggressive style, and we're mostly using her in the drop zone where she actually has the holo ability. So when you call her back, she gains holo, and this deck does focus a lot on the holo mechanic. So 2 of her is enough. I don't really think there's any more need to play any of her. We have the original 4 Nightrose. So this is Vampire Princess of the Nightfog Nightrose. I have 2 of the signed copies as well as 1 from the SP pack. So it's really cool as well. Like I said, this one, its GB2 ability is better for defensive play, and there are many combo videos online already discussing the different defensive combos you can actually do, which is pretty amazing considering that you get to do things on your opponent's turn as well. So I don't think I'll be making a combo video for this deck because there's just so many online already, and those combos are relatively old. There's no particularly new combos out there. But yeah, this is just what I'm going with. So to fill the space in for the remaining grade 3s in the deck, we are playing 1 Ghoul Dragon Ghast Dragon. It has holo, and it still allows you to mill your deck by 2 cards, its first ability, and it just does really good things still. So I'm playing it at 1. I'm thinking about actually dropping it, and I actually might add in a 3rd Nightrose of the Starlight, so we'll find out. But for now, I'm happy with what I'm playing here. And for the last grade 3, we're playing Mighty Rogue Nightstorm. So Nightstorm has a pretty nice ability. We only need 1 of them because he's good, but he's not particularly important in the deck as well. It's just a great extender. So yeah, you can counterblast 1 at the end of the battle, and then you can replace it with another unit on top of it. So actually no, call another unit on a different zone that he's not on. So it's pretty good still to allow you to get in more extra attacks and everything like that. Alright, so moving on to grade 2s. What I like about this deck is that there's a lot of variety, and we're allowed to actually play a lot of different cards, unlike generic decks that mostly just max out on 4 copies of every single card in the deck. But in this case, we get to play a lot of different choices. We're playing 4 different grade 3s, and now we're moving on to grade 2s where we're playing 3 Negro Lazy. For the longest time, I've only had 1, and that was from buying a box. Other than that, it took me a long time to actually get the remaining 2. Now, I recommend you play 3 and not 4 because you don't really need 4. You only really need 1 of them. But just in case someone actually binds 1 of them, for example, you're playing against a Narukami player and they bind 1 of your Negro Lazies, at least you have 2 others. Or if in a bad situation you manage to lose it into the damage zone, then you can't recover it, then it's good to just have some spares. So right now I'm playing 3. I think it's good. I don't really feel a need to play 4. Then we are playing 2 Skeleton Cannoneer, just to help retire your opponent's rear guards in the front row and also draw a card. So it's quite nice. We're playing 2 because there are other grade 2s that would rather play in this deck. So we're playing 3 Negro Rook just for a crazy amount of power. On its own, it's really strong. So I think it's worth playing. We are also opting to play Moltreat Shade. I think it's a really good card. Not only does it have power like Negro Rook, but it also helps you countercharge as well. And also it returns to your deck as well, which is really nice, simply because it's easy to mill cards from this deck and actually deck out from a game. So to have it be able to go back to the deck, even though it's just 1 card, is pretty much worth it. We are also playing 2 King Serpent. King Serpent helps you not only counter charge, but it also helps you soul charge. So it gives good versatility with this deck, and it replenishes your resources as well. There is a specific combo that actually involves him, which is why I'm still playing it. A lot of people don't even consider that, but those are the last grade 2s we are playing in here. Alright, so moving on to grade 1s, we are playing 4 of Waterspout Dijin, just the Unflipper Vanguard, Unflipper PGs. They're just worth playing, and I don't know why you wouldn't play it. I think it's better than Seawall Banshee, even though Seawall Banshee can return to your hand. Alternatively, you can opt to play it instead if you wish, but I prefer to countercharge. I think it's a lot better. We're also playing 3 of the Stride Fodder. So I don't really think I need to explain that. 3 is more than enough because we are playing 8 grade 3s already, so it's no big deal. We are also playing 3 of the Negro Bone. Negro Bone is just like Nightstorm, where you can replace units that it boosted and allow you to gain additional attacks, so I think it's pretty much worth it. The only downside is it doesn't have hollow, so that's kind of a disadvantage there, but it's not too bad. To end things off, we're playing 2 Fatal Shade. Fatal Shade is pretty decent. It just allows itself to come back, so it's a nice card, and it also has hollow ability, which is what we want to focus mostly on, and it's the only grade 1 that actually has hollow, whereas everything else doesn't. So I want to play a grade 1 that actually has hollow ability, because there are some times where we actually do need it. So that's actually it for grade 1s. We're not playing that many grade 1s. How many are we playing? We're playing 4, 7, 10, 12. We're only playing 12 grade 1s. We're mostly playing a lot of grade 2s simply because we need more attack power, since we can easily just recall these these units back again. So really easy there. Moving on to grade 0s, we're playing Guile Shade. I have been thinking about taking this out and actually putting in a second Grenache instead, just like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. However, I feel that this card is actually okay. Again, helping itself come back from the drop zone is pretty nice to play there. And to end things off, we are playing obviously the 4 heal. We're not playing the Ghosty heal because we're not playing the specific G-Guard that needs the Ghosty heal. We are obviously playing 4 of the Rampage Shade to obviously go into the Soul, where we will need the Soul a lot. This specific build does play a lot with the Soul, so I do like playing that, and this means we're also playing 4 of the Rough Seas Banshee, allowing us to put it into the Soul and draw a card. We are also playing 1 Mick the Ghosty, where it's only limited to 1 now. If we could play 4, we'd definitely play 4. And of course we're playing 3 Screaming Banshee, where it's another replacement of Mick the Ghosty, and it also has the ability to go back. No, not go back. It has the ability to bind itself and draw a card for you when it is sent to the drop zone from hollow ability, so it's quite nice there. Alright, so now moving on to grade 4s, we are playing 4 of the Miss Phantom Pirate King Nightrose. This card is still a really great card to just get in an entire column extra attack, so it's quite nice, and it allows you to flip itself over, which is why it's so important to play in this deck. We're also playing 2 Gorsh. I've seen many deck profiles where people want to play 4 of these. I don't even know how people even pulled that off, because it does get rid of cards from your soul, which is really easy as well. You're getting rid of 5 cards plus a soul blast, so you're pretty much getting rid of potentially 6 cards from your soul. It's pretty difficult to replenish that, and I think it's best to maximize his ability by actually calling 5 rear zone units instead. So I think we only need to play 2 of it just because it flips itself over as well. So yeah, and also when you play this in late game, it's pretty strong as well, because depending on how many face-up units you have in the G zone, it also gives extra power to those rear guards called back from the drop zone. We are then playing 2 of the Diabolts of Corpse Negrosonger. This card I play at 2 simply because it's a late game card, so you're only ever going to go into it once, and I feel like you're going to be going into the GB8 right after this card. So your opponent's going to have a lot of difficulty taking on this, but then once you bring out the GB8, it's a lot more difficult for your opponent than to just play 2 of these. But it's up to you, and I guess depending on what you see in the remaining cards in the G zone, you can decide to actually play 4 of these if you want. Alright, so at this point it might be pretty questionable for you guys, but we're playing 2 Demon Sea Queen Mareed. I still think this card is great to call cards from the drop zone, depending on whether their grades add up to this one's particular grade. Alright, so moving on, we're playing 1 Obadiah. I have thought about taking out the Mareeds and putting in a second Obadiah as well as a Sea Breeze, but for now I think 1 Obadiah is fine as well. We're mostly only going to be going for it once, and then we're mostly going for the other ones right after. And of course we're preparing for our GB8, so here's our GB8 Unfading Ship Immortal Galleon. Really good card, though it doesn't really come up often in most of my games. We usually finish it off at around Gauche or Negrosonger, but Galleon is still a pretty good card. You could take out Mareed, you could add in the second Obadiah, and you can also fill the remaining spot with Dragoot, which is the GB3 from Rummy Labyrinth. That's the one card I don't have, and if you do have it, I do recommend you play it. It's a really good card, just unfortunate that I don't have it. So for G-Guards, we're playing 1 Deep Corpse Dragon, just a mill card still. It's still decent to have a 20k defense. We're playing 1 Negro Lily for that defensive combo play that everyone's familiar with already. We're also playing 1 Negro Nora. I guess this is the one card that actually does do the flipping the G-Guardian thing, and it does require the heal, but I don't really play it because we only have 1 anyway, so it's not really relevant. And to end things off, we're playing 1 Negro Mode, simply because this one has the most power boost out of all of them, and I definitely like it the most. So yeah, this is pretty much the deck, and I'm really excited for the new Nightrose Stride that's coming out. It came out in the Japanese version of it, where they have the special boxes, but I don't know how they're going to do it for the English version. I really want to get it, and hopefully it does come out in the next set, like not in set 13 but in set 14 or something like that. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time.